Boys, let's get to it.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Lights, camera, action.
What's up, everybody? We are the Three Amigos and a Podcast.
Oh no!
Episode 40 coming to you live.
4-0.
We got a special treat from our friends over at the All Bad Podcast. How do I switch the camera around?
Yeah,
So this is the box in question.
I'm pretty amped for this thing.
Pretty amped about it.
Man.
Enrique was,
He kind of a little hype man.
he hyped it up for us, and he was like,
I swear if
"You guys are gonna love this."
Of anything inappropriate, Enrique. Coming after you.
I'm coming after you.
Coming after you.
All right.
Let's go. What do we got?
Let's do it.
Ryan's the scissor man. Was your first day using scissors?
I normally would use a box cutter. You ass
Just
clown.
use this.
I got
slice
it. Did I not?
Just savage. Just tear it open.
I want it to be
It's-
beautiful and neat.
It's delicate.
We don't know what could be in here. I don't want to break it.
You already told me it's not fragile.
All right, here we go. What do we got?
Oh,
What?
shit!
No
way! Sick!
Dude, these hats are dope. Three Amigo hats?
Crap.
Oh my gosh.
Hey!
Hey, dude,
This is sick.
fucking
These
dope.
are sick.
Holy.
Oh my goodness.
That's a new logo.
That's the new logo.
Hey.
We got a new logo.
Hey, shout out, man.
Yo,
Hey, thank you, all bad. This is awesome.
This is pretty awesome. I'm like
Everyone with the
speechless.
All Bad Podcast.
Take this off my head real quick,
I am
Let me put this
speechless
down.
on this thing.
dude. This is incredible.
Holy.
Yeah, keep the beer, man.
Yeah.
I'm a Bill smasher. Sorry, guys.
No, I'm kind of the same way.
That's like a glove too.
Woo!
This is wonderful.
Damn, look
It's
at
like-
these things.
Yeah, it's like the Padre logo and
Damn.
everything.
Get over here, B.
Let's do this.
Gotta take a selfie real quick. Boop. There we go, everybody. All Bad Podcast.
Wait, do we want to get one with all our heads down like this?
Yeah. Everybody get the head down. I think we got it.
Cool.
Damn.
These are dope.
These are
This
dope.
is sick. I had.
These are super comfy too.
Yeah, fuck yeah, they are.
Damn.
Dude. I'll be wearing this shit.
Everywhere?
Yeah.
And everyone's going to ask you, what's 3A?
3A. Dude, this is our.
Dude,
He literally just gave us our logo, though.
Dude, this is dope as fuck.
this is dope as hell. I don't know how he came up with that logo. That's super dope.
He said he put a lot of time into it, too. I was like, what the fuck did you do?
Yeah.
This is, like, way better than I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought it was going to be sick, but this is, like, blew my expectations away.
Shout out Enrique All Bad Podcast. Man, we love you guys. Look at these hats.
Oh, look.
Look at that, looking fresh.
Yo.
Brandon looking fresh. Woo!
Yeah! These hats are.
Damn, dude. This was sick.
Hell yeah, it was.
This is one of the best presents.
Those hats, though.
These
Dude, they're fucking dope.
Hats.
This hat's gonna get some
I
mileage.
feel like this is how NWA felt.
Dude,
I
I'm
still
just
didn't take
kidding.
my sticker off.
I keep forgetting, too. And there's snapbacks, too.
Dude.
Perfect.
I've been needing a good snapback too.
Whew. Man, now that I settled back down, had to change my pants. No, I was kidding.
Change your pants.
Change my underwear. Man, Enrique, Philly Phil, All Bad Podcast. Thank you guys, man. These hats are super
Thank
comfortable,
you so
super
much,
dope.
man.
I was in anticipation of what was in that box. I never would have guessed.
Not only
these.
that, the design,
Yeah.
and the
The
time,
logo of it?
the effort, everything that went into
Just the
it.
thought itself.
Yeah,
So nice. Such a nice guy.
he's such a giving guy.
Dang.
Sometimes you just wish you'd get somebody to give it back.
Just
Return the favor.
Just give it back. You just told my whole family to give me blowies. Oh, that's good. Man,
Great
well,
movie reference.
yeah, that started off the podcast hot. I mean,
Check the Instagram feed.
we got a loaded podcast today, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of
So
stuff.
much stuff happened in the NFL. The Padres are still hot. You know, it's got some talks
They
about
got-
what they're doing in the, rest of spring training going into opening day.
Yeah, right around the corner, man. We got 2 weeks.
This is we'll probably have to do a podcast on Wednesday beforehand because it's on a Thursday.
We can just
opening
do
day.
it the Thursday before. I mean, are you guys working that day?
No, I have it off. We can do it in the
Have it off.
morning.
Yeah, we
In
can
the
do it
morning?
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could. I'm probably gonna be drinking and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We should talk. We should
The
talk.
plan
to,
is to get to the game already.
I was gonna
pretty much
say
hammered.
we should
We'll just
talk
meet
to
up at, like,
Enrique
9.
about doing a co-op podcast
Oh, yeah,
with them.
yeah.
See if we can get a couple of them on Three Amigos.
There we go. That's a good idea. Because I was gonna say
We could do 2 podcasts at once and trade off players onto each other's podcasts at the same time while we're recording.
There you go.
Ooh,
There
that's
we go.
too much. That's so much.
Too much rotation.
Yeah, that's too much.
Well, you would stay because you're kind of the
Yeah.
the glue for our podcast, but me and Ryan can move back and forth.
And then I got to talk to Philly about sports. Like,
Yeah, I don't know if I do that.
Clearly, he would be the one that would be drifting over there.
He'd be like, "We got T-Pain coming to Park U tonight."
Everybody's a Tatiana.
Tatiana.
Oh man, but no, yeah, we gotta do something because I was thinking about it. Right, I'm out of town next week. I'm finally going to Peabody, Massachusetts, and then
The week
the
after,
week
that's
after opening day. And I was
Yep.
like, is this going to be our last time seeing each other doing a podcast before opening day? But I guess not. Do it the morning beforehand.
Yeah, fucking do it.
Adapt, overcome, and
Do
whatever.
it. Do it Thursday morning.
Yeah,
Thursday
That's the
morning, yeah, start drinking
Yeah.
at 9.
So
and
sorry,
we'll be good to go.
watching the early games too.
might as well do
There
it,
we
man.
go. But yeah, want to start off the podcast with, we entered that road competition. Tons of people were giving us love, saying they were going and voting for us and stuff like that. I mean, that was huge. So thank you to everybody that went out and voted for us.
When do the
Just
results
trying to-
come out?
I'm not too sure. The cutoff day was yesterday,
Okay.
so I'm sure they probably let it run for a couple weeks. But shout out everyone that voted for us, man. It's super nice to have some
Love the
little
support.
following, yeah. And then we were made a little post on Reddit and got some new listeners and stuff. So shout out all of our new
I just want
listeners.
to welcome you to the Three Amigo community.
Yeah, the Friar
Yeah.
Faithful. There we go.
Yeah.
Subreddit.
Thanks for
Padres.
showing us some love, man.
That's right. We always love it. But yeah, always got to start the podcast off asking how my boys are doing.
It's good, man. I got a new TV.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Dude.
I saw that. Was it Instagram or you?
was a
Shaylee, yeah, Shaylee.
Huge TV, man.
Dude,
What is
Very
it? 60-inch?
65.
65.
I got
Jeez,
Look
I got
at
these TVs big now.
I got, man. So like I went in there and like Shaylee and I were in there and like we talked about it and me and my dad had went and measured our, home entertainment center. He's like, a 65 is not going to fit here.
Yeah.
I was like, oh damn, that sucks. So we looked at the 60 and right next to the 60 was the 65. It was a Vizio. And I've been talking to Dean. I've been sending Dean pictures like TVs and stuff. And I was like, it's a Vizio and it's 65 inches. And Shaylee was like, yeah, but we're getting a 60. I was like, I want the big one. And she was like,
That's
Ryan,
it. She
it's not going to
married-
fit. And I was like,
she married you.
I was like, I want the big one.
and you were like,
Well, the
spit
guy
on
was
it.
like, I asked the guy, I was like, do you have the 60 and the 65 inch in stock? And he's like plugs into this thing. He's like, yeah, we have them both in stock. And I was like, I want the big one. And Shaylee was like, Ryan, it's not going to fit. I was like, I'll make it fit.
if you spit on it, it'll fit.
You totally setting yourself
Damn.
up there, man.
That's dope, though.
Yeah, that's great, man.
It did. I mean, it was tight, but it
barely
did fit.
fit, but like, it's cool, man.
At the end of the day, you guys might just have to get a new stand, like TV
Well, like
stand.
that
you know
whole
what I mean?
that top thing comes off anyway, so it's
Yeah.
like worst case scenario, we can just take that off and then mount it on the wall. So,
Boom.
but it fits. Like honestly, like it's even snug in there, so like I don't even need to mount it to the back.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah,
That's
nice,
good.
man. How
like
your
if it
week
was a
been?
half
Oh,
inch bigger, it wouldn't have fit.
luckily, they made it nice and like this
Had to use
shallow
a little
trim.
lube first.
God damn.
Hey, you guys were starting it.
Clearly, you
Yeah.
finished on
Yeah,
it. I mean,
he finished
it.
Damn it, dude. We're
Sorry.
still within the first 10 minutes. We gotta try to keep
That's
it
my
clean.
fault. That's my fault.
Keep it PG over here.
I just got so excited. I went from 6 to midnight when I saw these hats.
These are cool.
These hats to get everyone kind of
I'm ready to
excited
go. I'm jazzed.
Yeah, dude.
Do you remember when, like, growing up, they'd always say, sit farther back from the TV? Like, you're going to
Yeah.
burn your eyes. Now these TVs are fucking huge. And you're
Can't
like,
sit any farther back. I'd be in the
No.
backyard.
well, I mean, they did change, like, how the bulbs, like, lighted up and stuff. But it's not, like, backlit.
Yeah.
Oh,
How was
whatever.
your weekend, Brandon?
Fuck
It was this was a fantastic week for me. My
Fantastic.
Clippers 5-0. They did lose last night, but wins over great teams. Padres are in first place in the Cactus League. Had a chance to watch the new Captain Marvel movie.
Was it good? We were
It
supposed
was-
to go, but I bought a TV.
It was a really entertaining movie. Definitely, I wouldn't characterize it as a great movie, but you will enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Um,
is this like? Do you have to see it in order for the next one to like make sense? Are they all connecting?
I mean, you still want to know her story and stuff because
All
she's
right.
going to be in the next one. I'm pretty sure she's going to be
a
a
big part of it.
big part of bringing down Thanos in the next one. So, yeah, it's definitely worth the watch. I enjoyed it. There's especially with Shaylee, she's a big cat fan.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a scene with the cat in there that's pretty cool. So if you're a cat lover, it's a great movie. It was entertaining, but it was not. I wouldn't put it up there with like Iron Man as like the best Marvel movie. So yeah, I had a chance to have a little date night with the lady though. That was cool.
Nice.
How was your weekend?
Mine was good. Sarah and I went up to Julian. We were in hopes of finding some snow because it snowed on Friday up there, but Saturday when we drove up, it was dry. It was too hot up there. I think everything might have melted away or something. But it was still fun. We took my dog Max up there. He had fun. We were just kind of walking around because, without snow in Julian, like, what the fuck is there to do? Like, it's not a big area.
Yeah.
But we went to the Julian Brewery, or Julian Brew Co., whatever it is.
Oh, I didn't know they had that.
Dude, that place was really good. The food was incredible. The food was so good up there, and the beer was pretty good. Plus, you're at, like, 5,000 feet, so, like, the altitude, you start drinking, it hits you way harder.
Yeah.
So
that windy road always gets me on the way there.
Dude,
and back.
so it was weird. We took a back road.
You gotta go farther out east.
Because we went up Poway.
Yeah.
So like Poway Road goes right into it, and it's like a small little bit of windy road, and that's it.
Yeah, like if you go up to Ramona, like you get messed up.
Yeah,
that thing just jacks up my stomach every time.
Yeah. The other way was so smooth. I was like,
you have to
probably
definitely
a little
go
bit
farther out east, but it's definitely worth it.
It was easier because where Sarah lives, she lives like in Rancho Bernardo, basically Poway, so it was like right there.
Huh.
But yeah, no, it was a good time. Got a couple pies.
The moms.
Yeah, moms. And then I got some good sourdough bread from Dudley's.
Dudley.
Dude, so...
Sounds like a lot of empty carbs, Dean. Have you been working out?
I have been. You got to keep it tight. Keep tight. But, okay, you guys ever have, like... I know this is going to sound weird, but have you guys ever, like, had a traumatic experience somewhere, like, as a child, and then you, like, revisit it as an adult, and you're like, man, this place seems familiar, like, something bad, like, this was a weird place?
Yeah, anytime I see a clown.
All right. So I went to this place, Dudley's, and I'm standing in the shop looking around, and I'm like, dude, I've been here before. Like, I think this is the place that, like, I got trapped in a hailstorm. And, like, I was like, this is it. But I didn't say anything, and we went home, and we told my dad, and he goes, oh, yeah, that was the place when you were, like, 6 or 7 years old. It was hailing like crazy, and, you were being a baby, so I wanted to make you a man, so I made you get out of the car while it was hailing out and run into the store. And I was like, that's why I knew, like... he made me walk through the hail with him, getting pelted, and then I was like just crying, and he was like, "Oh, you're fine." But I remember that.
But
place.
he made you a man because of that.
That's what he says. And I'm like, dude, that's so mean.
Dean's still like, I don't like hail.
I don't like this. Hail sucks. Any kind of cold weather, freezing stuff.
I don't like cold weather at
No,
all. That's why I
talk to
live
me
in
about
San
it, dude.
Diego, man.
It's gonna be so cold in Chicago tomorrow.
Mm-mm.
It's gonna be. I'll tell you right now.
Well,
Actually, it'll be 39 on Friday in Indiana.
damn, man.
So not too cold.
That's
Yeah.
like us at our coldest here in San Diego.
Yeah, but I wrapped up my weekend and watched that Queen movie. It was really good.
You watched it finally?
Yeah, I watched it.
It was good,
It was
huh?
really good, yeah. And my surround sound system here, it was like I was at the concert.
Told you.
It was really good, though. It didn't even feel like 2.5 hours.
No.
It's 2.5 hours?
Yeah, it's a long movie, but like
It didn't feel like it. I was like,
it goes quick. The story
yeah.
doesn't like it. You don't hit a lull at any point.
No. And Rami Malek does an amazing job.
Yeah, he does. He's
Like, he
phenomenal.
embodies him like crazy. I watched the Live Aid live concert afterwards on YouTube.
Yeah,
All of his moves are exactly the same.
It's
and they got it
phenomenal,
all the way
man.
down to the cokes on the piano.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, dude, they really put detail into this.
Yeah, and even like with Freddie Mercury in his younger days too, man. I mean, like
Yeah.
he just like embodied the whole
Persona.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was good. But all right, like we said, we got a lot of stuff to talk about on this podcast. Want to start off with baseball. Got to give the Friar Faithful some love. Padres bullpen, man, it's really starting to shape up.
Yeah.
I think they're starting to get their pieces together, and it's gonna.
Brandon had texted us earlier in the week. He said, "What'd you say, Brandon?"
I feel like Paddock is making a strong push, man. I think he might make that he might make the opening day roster, not opening day starter.
I
yeah,
definitely think. I mean,
I don't
was
think he's
pitching.
getting an opening day nod, but
He was pitching tonight. For everybody listening, we're recording on a Wednesday, the 13th. So he was pitching tonight. I don't know what his outing's looking like right now.
He let off one, but let me see how many innings he
But that guy's got control, man.
Yeah,
so much
I've
control.
never seen he's got so much movement on his fastball. He's got a nasty changeup, and he just paints the corners, and that's what you want out of a pitcher.
Look at this. These are pretty good numbers. So he threw 4 innings, let off 5 hits, a run. It was earned. No walks, 6 strikeouts.
Damn, that's good.
Man. I mean, the runs are going to come. I mean, you're never going to be a pitcher that's going to be.
Well, you got to trust your defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to throw strikes.
Yeah,
and that's what happens.
And that's the thing. Like, if you're going to be a pitcher in the National League, it's like you have to give up hits because you have to, trust the defense behind you that they're going to make plays, they're going to turn to when they can, and also that they're going to score runs.
Yeah.
All we're asking for out of a Padre fan, an ERA below 4.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly,
I agree.
I think Lucchese's going to trend that way.
Yeah.
He had a great rookie year.
Yeah.
His was like low 4s. You just think with another year under his belt, he seems very composed for a young guy.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, obviously, like some of the greater pitchers we see will be, sub 3 or shit. I mean, even with what was it, DeGrom last year, sub 2.
Yeah.
There's obviously those pitchers out there, and it's, but all we need is a consistent, number 1 guy who can go out there and give, a couple runs here and there, but allow his defense to make plays so we can support him with the offense behind.
Definitely.
I think Padre gives that to us, man. Like I was saying, I've never seen a Padre pitcher, in the last decade, paint the corners like this dude can.
And we were talking about this before the podcast is, control, that's something that's going to show up,
Yeah.
The movement on your pitches and stuff, that comes and goes, but your control,
your
That's
location.
sometimes you have an off night, man.
Yeah.
And your curveball's not working the way you want it to. Your fastball's not breaking like you want it to. Everything's flat. Like those kind of nights happen. But the way,
if you can trust your location and the way that you can pick your spot and throw to it, that's something that
That's the one thing
you
you
can
watch.
count on. So you can get by if you're having a bad night. That things aren't moving for you.
I can't tell you how many times last year watching Padre games I would watch. Some of these younger pitchers we had, and it's not their fault because control happens with repetition, and they're still young guys. But like we'd have Hedges set up low and outside, and it would end up like dead center, and he'd have to move his glove over, he'd have to reach his arm over, because it's completely in the opposite direction. When the catcher's set up in a spot, every time I've watched Paddock, man, like if it's not right at the glove, it's 3 inches away.
Oh yeah.
One of the best pitchers that I can remember,
Greg
Maddux.
Yes,
and
yes,
he was literally the first guy I was thinking of. I'm like, control. This guy could basically dictate where he wanted that ball to be hit in the
There's
infield.
a lot of reasons he didn't give up a ton of home runs, man. I mean,
Yeah.
he could keep anything that he want. Like for low ball hitters, he kept it up. When it was a good middle to the high ball hitter, he kept it down. And not to mention, he had one of the nastiest changeups in the game,
which Paddock does as
He's
well.
got a dirty changeup.
Yeah, but I mean,
a lot of optimism there.
a lot of our other guys too, like Strom had his outing the other day, and I think he had like 12 Ks in 4 innings.
He
or something
looks
like that.
really good. I just don't know if he can go the distance of a
he's
traditional
still,
starter.
He's still coming off that knee injury, so it's like I don't know how much that he can sustain.
I mean,
but even still, if he's like a flex bullpen guy, I'm okay with that.
I honestly think that's probably you're going to see him start a few games for us this year. I mean, with injuries, those things happen.
Go like 4, 5.
But I mean, I could see him. Yeah. I'm thinking more of like a 5 to 6 range with him.
Mm-hmm.
You
6
mean days?
is pushing it a little bit. No,
innings. Okay.
Innings. I mean, and that's an optimistic standpoint. Like, you don't want your pitcher, like, you want him to have a decision.
Mm-hmm.
So going into it, it's like you want to have them at least finish 5 innings.
Yeah.
Especially in the National League, because then, it comes down to, do you want to take him out? Do you want to get a hitter in there? Do we want to add some support runs?
Who are we trying to waste?
Exactly. So, I mean, I could see him being a guy that can try to eat about 5 to 6 innings a game. But like Brandon's saying, I don't know if the longevity is there. And remember, it's a long season.
It's a long season.
So we're not sure how a lot of these guys are going to look come, June.
Yeah.
We're seeing them at their freshest right now. We got to remember that these guys have to stay healthy for a full season.
Not only that, but it's like the nerves are there right now too. The adrenaline's kind of there. So how long does that last? And
yeah. I mean, honestly, though, I feel like they're going to start off with a lot of optimism just because their ownership is buying into them. I think that's one thing that
they haven't done in the last decade almost.
I mean, shoot, last year when we went to opening day, we had Chase Headley as our starting third baseman. We had Clayton Richards as our starting pitcher. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously we're huge Padre fans, so we're going to show up, we're going to support, we're going to scream our freaking heads off when they're, playing.
I don't even remember who our starting shortstop was last
It was
year.
Galvis.
Galvis.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Totally
He played
spaced.
every game for us.
Yeah, he did.
But, like,
Totally forgot about him. My thoughts are on the future, man.
Yeah. Leave the past in the past.
Yeah, leave the past in the past. He was a good stopgap for us.
but it's tough. I mean, like, you end up with these players that, and you want to root for a good team, but your own ownership's clearly not buying into you yet because all the players are in the minor leagues. And now it's like you have a lot of these guys getting called up. You have optimism. You have Manny Machado now with Eric Hosmer with a full offseason with the Padres under his belt now. Yeah. There's a lot of optimism there, and that's what I'm saying. I think that it's going to help with the mental aspect of what baseball is. And remember, baseball is 70% mental.
Yeah, that's true. And it's one of the hardest things, dude. Hit a round object with another round object.
Now we know Fran Mill's the real deal too. I think Renfroe was coming into his own a little bit at the end of last year.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think it's screwing over Margot.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to bring it up in the podcast last week, and it's looking more and more likely that Myers starts in center field.
I think they're just testing it out. That was kind of the vibe I got. They were saying they wanted to try
I don't know if
him
it's
out
an
in center.
opening day start, but I feel like with how I know Margot's been playing well, but you cannot leave Franmil and Renfroe's bat or Franmil Reyes and Hunter Renfroe's bat sitting on the bench from a day-to-day basis.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, and it sucks because like we would love to see Franchi Cordero out there. We need a good left-handed bat, but with the way that those two are slugging, man, oh my
you just gotta
god.
keep feeding the
Margot's
fire.
playing pretty good in spring ball too. So
Yeah, but it's his production over his
last
production
year,
last year
he
was
had a
down,
sophomore
so
slump for sure.
It's like you
You
got to
need
see
his
that
glove.
turnaround.
You definitely need his glove.
He also faced a lot of injuries last year too, and anytime injuries are involved, that usually derails a season.
The
for
thing
him.
with
that's the hard
Franmil
part
that I
to-
like
yeah.
better than Renfroe is that he can hit right-handed pitching.
and he can draw a walk better than Renfroe.
Yeah,
can, too.
Renfroe
but
strikes out a lot.
Renfroe's power, man,
Renfroe's got, but Franmil's power is just as good.
it's just as good. Yeah, I know it's tough. It's splitting hairs.
That's what I mean. Like,
But
if you're-
I looked at a lot of his shots were solo shots. I don't know how much you want to take that into account.
I don't
too.
take anything.
I don't take it into account,
because
especially you look
last
at-
year who he was playing with.
Yeah, no. Well,
I mean, he was
you look
batting
at-
behind Renfroe.
Comparing
How
him
many
to
opportunities
Renfroe, though,
did he
Renfroe
have?
came through with the bases loaded most of the time, though. Too.
He had
But
a
you
lot of
look
clutch
at look at
hits.
opportunity though. What's the opportunity between the two players?
No, definitely,
Like
definitely.
Ryan said, he's batting behind Renfroe, so if Renfroe's getting those opportunity to clear the bases,
and then he takes advantage of it.
you know,
I mean, I just think that like from where
it's
what we've
definitely
seen,
a good debate for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah.
I think
know.
what we saw from Franmil last year, and now what we're seeing with him, it's not changing much. Like you said, like he draws walks better. He's got a better eye. He's got power to all parts of the
He
field.
can hit for average a
He
little
can
bit
hit for
better.
average. I mean, the only thing is his glove. Renfroe's got one of the best arms that we've had from a right fielder in a long time. But the bat, I feel like, is slightly tilted towards Franmil, and the power's there. I mean, it's all coming around. So I mean, it's going to be tough to see what the starting lineup looks like, and I do feel like they're going to tinker with it for the first couple weeks of the season.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah,
I'm all
no,
right
definitely.
with figuring out your formula till you go
You
forward.
have to. I mean, it's not a sprint. It's 162 games.
That's one of the things I like about this team. We're not afraid to make moves, especially with AJ Preller behind the helm. You know, he's certainly willing to wheel and deal. He's willing to mix up the lineups. He's trying these things. Most of it's blown up in his face, but we're learning what works and what doesn't.
Well, plus, I mean, what was it? Andy Green last year had one of the most lineup changes in baseball.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's not afraid to move people around either and see what's going to work for you.
I'm interested to see what it ends up looking like out there. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm tilting towards Franmil a little bit more than Renfroe lately, and Renfroe was one of our best hitters at the end of last year. If there's a way for them to all start and play at the same time, that's fine. My biggest knock on Franchi,
We had DH.
Put a rover out
the
there.
problem solved, done.
Yeah, for sure.
No, we're just gonna once we get Tatis up.
Yeah.
He's got him in Machado got the range, and then we'll just play a rover.
Yeah, there you go.
So there we go. See what I'm saying? It's all about the shift.
Yeah.
No,
No, it'll be interesting. I definitely think the one person or the one player that's going to kind of get the shaft on it is Franchi. He's too inconsistent. He
He's
can
way
drive the ball better
inconsistent.
than anybody on the team, but I
Yeah.
mean,
And he's got more speed than anyone on the team
yeah.
too.
But Margot is a better base runner. He's a smarter player. better glove.
He's good out in the field.
I feel like
better
Franchy's gonna play the what we had Travis Jankowski pegged for.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna play that like he's
That
gonna
filler guy.
fill in at for center field when they don't want to put Myers out there, which I'm still not convinced that he's a center fielder, but
You talking about French or Franmil?
no, I'm talking about Will Myers. Will Myers, they've been talking about moving him around.
Oh,
to
gotcha.
center field
Put
and
him
stuff.
at center field.
And
so he's saying-
that guy who can rotate in and out at center field if
Shit, he
Margot
could play
needs to
first
be.
base too. So I mean,
So
yeah,
I mean Hosmer is a guy who's going to play 162 for the most
Yeah.
part.
yeah,
And I think
we'll see. I wanted to do. Oh yeah, Manny Machado. I was going to talk about it. Manny Machado hitting his first home run.
that was a shot.
yeah,
Shot.
it was.
I was like, I saw it, and then I saw that the game got rained out. And I was like, you want me to put the hammer down?
That dude,
Dude
like,
hits a bomb, and the game gets rained out.
Yeah, that was a
immediately
freaking-
after.
Yeah,
That was a shot.
it
Dude.
was a shot.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got one of the prettiest swings. Like,
it's effortless.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
the ball just jumps.
And that's
off
honestly
his
like
bat.
any baseball coach I ever had growing up was like, I remember like you're tightening up too much, you're swinging too hard, and like this dude is clearly listening to every person he's ever grown up with, because it doesn't look like he puts much effort into it, but he's swinging hard.
he's swinging hard.
Yeah.
Dude, I was literally watching it on my phone at work, and when as soon as that bat hit the ball, I go, ooh. Like, dude, it was such a smooth, good swing. The ball just hopped off that bat, too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nice to have like a steady rock in the lineup with like Manny Machado out there.
So who goes top of the Western Metal Building first this year? Renfroe, Myers, or Machado?
Ooh, I got my money on Renfroe.
I'm sorry, not Myers. Franmil.
I was gonna say Renfroe.
Renfroe.
Renfroe just jacks him
He
out
just
there.
jacks him, dude.
I got
Machado.
Franmil Reyes.
Franmil.
I got him after that shot that he hit over the
Yeah,
freaking,
that's true, dude.
Dude, he's got a freaking
the canopy in left field
Yeah.
during spring training. That dude, man.
That one, he hit it
Watch it
so
be
hard,
yours.
he like almost fell over. That's how hard he hit that ball.
Yeah.
Dude, it's ridiculous. So I want to do, a way too early projection for Major League Baseball. Let's just get, like, who you guys think is going to win, who's going to top each division. I know usually we do our big board kind of thing. But
Hedges homered twice today, just so we know. Too.
I was gonna say that
Twice?
too.
Homered twice, and
Wow.
A 3-run and a 2-run.
and
jack.
Franmil hit another home run too.
It's like there's so much optimism this year.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah,
If Hedges can turn his freaking bat around, dude,
Exactly.
oh my
he doesn't
God.
even need to turn her. He just needs
He
to
just-
be serviceable. Like he
more
doesn't need to be.
consistent.
He doesn't need to be an all.
250.
Yeah, no.
250.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we need like an elite play from him. Just need
No.
a guy who's not
something
gonna get
that you
an
can just
out
put him out there
time
every
he
day.
puts- Yeah.
Like, just, all right.
Sorry, Dean.
No. That's exciting. Anytime that we got some big news from the Padres, it's fun. All right. So go American League East. Who you guys
So we
got?
American League East. I mean,
It's hard not to take the Yankees after the moves that they've made this year.
But at the same time, it's hard. Like the Red Sox
That's
are going
such
to
a
battle.
tough decision.
It's a two.
Why'd you start off with the East, Dean?
Sorry, I just started at the
I'm
top.
gonna say
put
the
it
Red
this way.
Sox.
Let's put it this way. Both those teams are making the playoffs.
Yeah.
There's
It's
no
the difference
doubt that's-
between like they're probably both going to win 100 games this year too. Just because of the injuries that are happening with the starting rotation with the Yankees, I'm
Yeah.
leaning towards the Red Sox. I think it's going to allow the Red Sox to get a little bit of a faster start onto that division. But I look for Giancarlo Stanton to have another like huge turnaround year this year, and I look for Aaron Judge also.
Dude, Aaron Judge is so good.
It's a fucking
Like
beast,
he's
man.
really good.
Yeah.
Like his
really
his
good.
numbers are almost Trout-esque. That's how
Yeah.
good he is.
Yeah, except for he strikes out a lot more.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
more.
but I mean, just from a walk standpoint, that dude draws more walks than just about any other player in the league.
Yeah. I don't know. His strikeout numbers are kind of skewed too because his strike zone gets expanded so far, and they just get that low and away strike
Yeah.
every single time. But okay, so AL East. Ryan, you say Red Sox.
got Red
Brandon,
Sox.
I'm going Yankees.
I'm going Yankees
I
too.
feel like I just feel like the Yankees have something to prove this year, and they know that they got to win this division. Red Sox are kind of that incumbent team coming off their
I'm
Series
gonna have to.
victory.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. I think the Red Sox are hungrier than ever. They're
You
pulling
think so?
They're pulling a Patriots, Tom Brady. You're calling us the underdog type of year, and they're just gonna be hungry.
I mean, they're one. My thing though with the Red Sox is that there's no way JD Martinez plays the same way
nearly
this
as
year
good as he did last
Yeah.
year.
So
for sure.
that's the one thing that's probably gonna give them a few less wins. I hope the Yankees take that division. But I mean, like I said, just with the way that the season starting off with the injuries already,
yeah.
I'm leaning towards the Red Sox.
All right. AL Central. This is a fun one.
Dude,
this is the unanimous decision. If anyone takes anybody but the Indians,
But I think that the Indians are going to win this division with less than 90 wins this year.
I think they're still going to get there.
Okay.
They're going to get over 90 just because that other the rest of the division's so weak, and you have so many of those interdivision games that they're just going to be mopping up those other crappy teams, and their records. They're not going to be worth
Taking
what
sub
their
90.
record is.
Sub 90.
Sub 90. I say
into the
89,
playoffs.
89 wins in the playoffs.
I'm going to go like
All right.
92 or something, somewhere in that range.
I'm not even gonna guess. I'm just gonna take them. AL West. I mean, I think this is another easy one.
You got to go Houston Astros.
Houston Astros.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
yeah.
enough said.
NL. This is where the battle starts to begin. It's a little bit more fun. NL East.
You don't want to do the wild card teams for that one?
Oh, we do wild card, yeah. So I mean, obviously it's gonna be the Red Sox or Yankees, depending on how that goes.
Yeah.
Then
I feel like it's got to be the Oakland A's.
I was gonna say 8. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Even
the
I
one
think
thing
the
that,
A's will take a step back.
I was going to
from
say the
last
only
year.
thing that the A's that they didn't do a good job of is they didn't improve upon what they did last year. So they didn't fill the holes that they needed. So while some of the other teams got better, I don't think that they got any worse.
Yeah.
But when you're not improving and you didn't win a World Series, are you improving? There's always a question.
No,
Yeah.
definitely.
But I do look for a team like, I mean, I always say it just because Mike Trout's on their team, but the Angels.
Mhm.
Also, I mean, the Tampa Bay Rays have a pretty damn good starting rotation over there.
They do.
It's just,
Yeah.
and again, they're playing in a tough division where they have to play against majority Red Sox and Yankees.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd have to say either Yankees, Red Sox, or the A's. Those would be who it is. National League, NL East.
Philadelphia.
I was going to go
Phillies
Phillies.
is going to be the easy one. I mean, the
gotta
addition
be.
of Bryce Harper and
I
other names.
I still think
Yeah,
I
that's
still
right,
think
the
the
other people they
Nationals
got.
will make some noise. I think they'll rebound from their shitty year
They'll
last
push
year.
for a wild
But
card.
yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. But I'm still picking the Phillies to win that division.
The
Yeah.
one team I'm not looking at this year to make even a wild card push is the Atlanta Braves. They played too good last year.
Yeah,
It
Yeah,
doesn't
they-
make sense.
Way above, yeah.
I
way
mean,
above their threshold.
congratulations for winning that division. You guys won 90 games, and I'm not taking anything away from you. But too many young guys, too much potential for sophomore slump and third year slumps. I don't see it happening again.
I agree.
Yeah. NL Central.
This one's a tough one, but I'm going to go Cubs for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cubs as well.
Just because there's so,
Don't,
so
dude. You're always talking how the Cubs.
No, it's not
You're
it.
always
It's
okay.
not- I'm gonna take the Cubs.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was gonna be
That
like,
division's
there's
tough.
There's a huge underdog here, and it should never be considered an underdog. And that's the St. Louis Cardinals.
True.
The addition of Paul Goldschmidt, the way that starting rotation went, and how they win at home.
yeah.
I mean, and you have the Milwaukee Brewers, who are the reigning, NL Central champs. Dude, the Cardinals had a terrible first half of the year last year. If they're even if they're 50% better this year than they were last year, come All-Star break, I mean, both of those teams, the Cubs and the Brewers, are going to be shitting their pants.
Don't you guys wish we held on to that guy Miles Mikolas, the guy who went over to the Japanese league, came back and reinvented himself with the Cardinals?
I have no idea. Who you're talking
I have no
about.
idea who you're talking about.
Look him up. He's got like a handlebar mustache. He's like a ginger.
fucking
He's like a
awesome.
ginger dude.
Hey, come on! Why you gotta offend us redheaded
Hey,
people?
I'm just saying he had a great year last year. Look at his ERA was in the twos,
I'm just gonna say if you can't
and
say
they just
midget,
locked him up for that long term deal this offseason.
I'm just gonna say if you can't say midget for little people anymore, you can't say ginger. Okay?
What?
I don't know. There's certain words you can't say anymore.
That used to be your gamer tag for one of those.
It was,
it
for sex
PlayStation or Xbox?
Yeah.
Ginger Anarchy.
Ginger Anarchy. That was fun. All right, NL West,
Dodgers.
Padres. No, I hate to admit it, but yeah, Dodgers.
I don't think that a wild card team is going to come out of the NL West. I think, maybe the Rockies and the Padres could make a push.
I don't think with the offseason that the Rockies had, I don't think with how Arizona got rid of Paul Goldschmidt, I don't think any of those teams are going to be competing for a wild card spot.
Yeah,
definitely not the Giants.
I do think that there's a potential for 2 teams to come out of the NL Central. I mean, we got to remember, the Milwaukee Brewers won 96 games last year, and then they went out and added Mike Moustakas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
how
about
he'll play
him
at
playing second
Yeah,
base, but I
agreed.
mean, it's another bat to put in that lineup. Do we think Christian Yelich is going to have another MVP type season? I don't know. I mean,
it's definitely doable, though. I mean, he's a young kid. He was pretty consistent.
I feel
all
like
last
there's going to
year.
be some regression there,
Dude,
to be honest.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at the rest of his stats versus what he did last year, it's unheard of.
No,
I don't think
he's going to match what he did, but I definitely don't think he's going to take a huge step.
No,
back.
he's still going to be
I
a
mean,
300
it'll be-
hitter. I mean,
yeah.
you got to remember, this dude hit for 2 cycles last year.
That's what I was going
mean,
to say. I don't think he's going to hit for multiple cycles or multiple Grand Slam games, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's just he's a
But
stud.
they
though.
played good last year. They played really well. And, I mean, like we said, I'm giving the edge to the Cubs. Love what they do with that organization. I feel like they're going to be coming back in a rebuttal year. Chris Bryant had a terrible year. But looking at that division, I mean, I don't see any other team in the National League besides Milwaukee, Chicago, or St. Louis who's going to be close enough to a division title as well as being in there for the wild card race. I mean, we might see 3 teams in that division winning 90 games. That almost happened last year. St. Louis won 88.
yeah. Yeah, that'll be a fun race in there, but I agree. I mean, if the Cardinals made, some good moves, so I definitely see that they can make a push, but the Brewers, I don't know, they had a really good season last year, like you were saying with Christian Yelich.
They didn't really address their starting pitching problem, though. That's kind of what I feel like.
I feel like they're bullpen heavy for sure.
Yeah.
They're bullpen heavy, and their bullpen's strong. So
that was their problem last year, was their starting rotation,
Yeah.
too. So
And that-
even
I
though
mean,
they were 1 game away from
they're
the
one of
World
those
Series.
teams that goes early to the bullpen.
Yeah.
They even talked in the playoffs. They were saying how they were gonna have 2 inning maxes for some of their pitchers, and I was like, in the playoffs?
Padre legend Jalees Chassin.
Oh Jesus!
God. He actually played decent for us,
Yeah,
so
he did.
so I can't hate on him too much.
Mm-hmm.
So for Major League Baseball, I have one fantasy and reality question for you guys.
Sure.
The Padres will finish with a top 10 ranked defense.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
So right now there's a projection that they're going to finish 17th.
Well, I mean, I think
But-
you have to look at how bad they were on defense last year, and that's actually pretty respectful considering.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, you have to remember, like, the wins above replacement with Manny Machado, and the fact that Eric Hosmer is there, and now the addition of Ian Kinsler, who's going to be playing a decent amount of reps between, Fernando Tatis and when he gets called up, and Luis Urias.
Yep.
Those guys aren't going to play every day. They're young.
They're young guys.
Yeah.
They're going to
So
go.
Kinsler's
they're going
gonna
to
be in there,
streaky,
So if our backup is Ian Kinsler, come All-Star break, he's a Gold Glove player, and that's a lot of the times what happens with these defensive, mishaps is when you get players in there off on rest days.
No, we have 3 Gold Glovers in our infield, and then
Yep.
we have someone who's highly touted who could possibly win a Gold Glove in Tatis. So it's like,
Urias Glove's good too.
no, yeah, definitely
Yeah.
not taking anything away, but
I feel so bad for that guy.
Kinsler won last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
I feel
Me
so
too.
bad for Luis Urias because that dude is good,
Oh, dude,
and he's just been
so
coming up behind
overshadowed.
freaking Tatis for the last 2 years, and
I
it's
wouldn't
like,
feel too bad for him.
oh, it's less
he's
pressure.
He's still
No, less
he's still
pressure,
highly
but-
touted. He's like,
Yeah.
I think the top 2 second baseman in the league.
Yeah.
I
I did have one more, but it's
Minor
not.
league.
It's a little bit of a stretch. I really don't think it's going to happen. But the Padres don't sign a veteran pitcher, and they run the year with their youthful bullpen. So
Oh,
they're
well,
not gonna
you
sign a
said bullpen or rotation.
Sorry, rotation. I just meant like the entire pitching staff in
I
general.
think their rotation's going to roll young the whole year, and it's going to be kind of a trial by error.
Yeah.
I think it's a fantasy. I'm actually going to disagree with both of you. I don't think clearly they're not making a trade right now. But you look at a player, Marcus Stroman, somebody that's been talked about a lot that the Padres have been interested in. If the deal is right and they need to move a player in order to, and they feel like they need to acquire another starting pitcher.
Yeah.
Maybe Hedges' bat comes out hot this year, and they're willing to deal a player like Francisco Mejia, sprinkling a couple other prospects. Things like that can happen. So I'm not going to rule it out. So I think that come All-Star break, you could kind of see them start to tinker with the idea.
Yeah.
You got to remember, if they're in playoff contention,
That's what I was going to say. The only reason I would say that this is reality is if, something magical happens during the season, which is definitely doable, and going in towards the All-Star break.
That's not my
deadline.
reality, though. My thing is that at that time when teams are desperately trying to get players off their roster, you can get them for less.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get, at this point, if you haven't made the deal already and you don't see any more value in a player, you don't see him signing long-term, you want to get what you can out of it, and it's the best time to buy. So I could see them going after a player that they think is going to help them, not this year, but next year. Because again, like if you're going in right now, the year is new, you don't know what record your team's going to have come the All-Star break. You're happy with the work that you've put into this roster. But like we're going to come All-Star break, and people like Jake DeGrom or Noah Syndergaard are going to start being dwindled out there, and Marcus Stroman, a couple other pitchers for teams that aren't doing as well as they thought they were.
All right. Well, I'm glad I asked the question because I wasn't going to. I didn't think I was like, I think this is a reality for all of us that they're going to stay young and continue their bullpen. But Ryan, you made great points, man. I mean, looking towards the future, which is where we've been Project 2020 for, you know what I mean, for
That's
years now.
So it's going to be more expensive to buy into players.
Yeah, it's a great point. If we were giving out points, I'd give one to you.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
That's an upvote.
Ding!
We're going to upvote you.
All right, let's switch gears.
NFL!
Crazy fucking week. Free agency frenzy.
Trades too, man.
Trades. Movements. Who knows what's going on out there?
Let's start first by saying our apologies for jumping on the Antonio Brown wagon too fast, because he was supposed to be traded to the Bills, but then he threw a bitch fit and he
decided to control his own destiny and veto,
Yeah.
which I didn't even know players were allowed to do.
So,
but
I mean,
guess,
it's a super smart move by the Bills. Super smart. Because if you have a guy that you know's not going to show up, that was on a team with a dude that just basically said, I'm not playing out this contract with you guys, then why would you, trade viable assets like draft picks? And then he goes to the Raiders. So, two things. Let's talk about the other big trade first.
You want
You had Odell Beckham gets traded to the Browns for a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and Julius Peppers.
In my recent memory, I cannot think of a worse trade for an organization.
So, and I'm sorry, I will get into that in a second, but
So I had to say that.
when you're ranking receivers, we've had this discussion plenty of times, who's the number one receiver in the NFL?
That's a tough one right now.
It's really a tough one,
Okay.
but based on numbers,
So would
based
you
on
lean more
production,
towards Antonio
I'd go
Brown?
Antonio Brown.
Or, yes.
I would.
So that's basically the question. Would you lean more to Antonio or Odell Beckham?
If we're talking about controllable assets, I'd rather have Odell Beckham due to age.
Okay.
But he does have that injury history that does scare me away.
Pure talent.
So okay,
But just pure talent, I would go Beckham too.
Because they're both divas.
Don't think of it as you're a GM and you're trying to run this organization. Think of it as you're building your Madden team.
Yeah.
Which one would you
for
want?
one season?
And
or
one
that's
season
what I'm gonna
right
say.
now.
We're considering both of these teams or think that they're in contention for a playoff run.
Because that's what I'm saying. You said he's a controllable asset,
'Cause
which I
get
agree
that.
with because of age.
And long
But
term. Long term. But we're talking short term right now.
Short term. Who's the better wide receiver right now? If you were going to go play a pickup football game, you can only have one of these guys. Which one are you going to want?
And if I know they're healthy,
Yeah.
I'm going Odell Beckham too. So
and they're both good. So
Yeah.
my point is though is that these players, like you got one of you said Odell, one of you said Antonio Brown. One of them was traded for a first and second round pick. The other one was traded for a fourth and a sixth.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, Julius Peppers was also a first round pick. So we'll just say 2 first round picks and a second round pick for a fourth and a sixth. The Steelers have to be on crack right now.
Dude, so like I listen to a lot of podcasts, and different people are talking about what the reasoning could be for this, or like their thought process. Basically, it has to come down to they're just trying to get Get the cancer out. They're trying to cut the cancer out, start their locker room fresh.
It's sad to say, but I actually think this makes the Steelers a better team. You look at a player like Juju Smith-Schuster, who's going to be a phenomenal player in this game for years to come. And also James Washington out of Oklahoma State had a phenomenal rookie year last year. Not too much productivity because of the amount of balls that was thrown his way, but given opportunities, he was a stud. James Conner, another person. They're not taking massive steps back off players. It's players that aren't as well known in the NFL, but they're not taking.
We forgot about James Conner too. Or at least I did. You think about it, you're like, oh shit, they lost Le'Veon Bell, they lost Antonio Brown. So you're like, well, we got a couple guys who can fill in, and you get rid of the cancer.
And it does. It allows them for more flexibility. All I'm saying is that they didn't want to trade him to the Patriots. They didn't want to do that.
They could have got more.
They could have gotten so much more if they would have not been so stubborn about this. So it did. It came down to we need to get rid of this player. What is the worst situation that we can put this guy in? And what's the least, what's the most we can get back from a crappy team?
Yeah.
Because the Raiders aren't any, they're not much better than they were at the beginning of the last preseason.
That's true, yeah. They've lost.
They took a hit.
No,
sure.
And that's the thing. Antonio Brown, clearly, we argue that he's the number one wide receiver. Are we putting Amari Cooper in that same, vein?
I would say Amari Cooper's top 10, top 15. He definitely showed more value with the Cowboys than he did with the Raiders.
And that's what I mean. Did he show more value because Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Derek Carr?
Derek Carr sucks. I know
now,
Derek Carr likes to go out and listen to these things. So if you're saying this, sorry, man, but you're not any good.
Well, he's good. He's good. He's just not. He's not. I think Dak Prescott's better.
My only thing with Derek Carr is that he allows the media to control his mindset of the game. And it's like you go out there and you have arguments with people about your productivity. Show up and play. We saw you as an MVP caliber player.
Yeah.
And he's had some injuries. He's had some issues with health, but
I think he could be that MVP guy.
I don't see it
anymore. He's got that potential.
He has the fear in his eyes. He's like that baseball player that olays every ball because they got hit in the chest one time. He's scared now.
I don't see it anymore. It's not, the confidence isn't there. The seasoned vets around him weren't there, and not to mention, not his fault, but John Gruden puts too much of the game in his hand, and
I don't think strip a lot of talent away from him.
I don't think he's a good head coach. I honestly don't, because I think that Derek Carr was much better with Jack Del Rio. I think Jack Del Rio simplified the offense and allowed him to be successful. So, Derek Carr to me, is a lower 15 quarterback now in the last 2 years.
I agree.
Definitely last year for sure.
Well, this leads into one of the fantasy reality questions I have for you guys. Antonio Brown has less than 100 catches this season.
Yeah.
Yeah?
100 catches is a lot.
His past 8 seasons with the Steelers, he's had 100 plus. Last year he had 114.
I just don't see the Raiders offense thriving this next year. I still think they're just
short passes.
They're missing.
Those are still catches. You know what I mean?
No, I know it's not. But I know it's a catch. But all I mean is it's different offenses.
Yeah,
it's not like the Steelers use their athletes in space, where the Raiders are more of a pro-style offense.
And that's the only reason why I think that this is also going to backfire for the Raiders, because Antonio Brown is probably one of the biggest divas in the game right now. And he's going to want his production.
Well, we saw, remember when Randy Moss went to the Raiders and he was crap with them too, right?
Dude, and then the other big thing was that they went out and signed Terrell Williams, and I was telling Dean on the phone earlier today, it's like, okay, Terrell Williams and Antonio Brown are statistically great receivers, but you just pulled their 2 future Hall of Fame quarterbacks away from them, not to mention the high-powered offenses that they both played on.
That's a big piece, I feel like.
This is the same exact situation as what's going on in Buffalo right now, because they signed Frank Gore and LaShawn McCoy, and they said, career rushing yards to combined, they have 5,000 more rushing yards than the next duo on a team.
Yeah, but they're also both plus 30.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's that number doesn't really matter
wrong
now.
Side of 30.
So it's when you compare these 2 wide receivers on a team now with the Raiders, it's they're losing the guy that throws them the ball to make them good.
The thing to me, too, is you talk about needing to have a 2-headed monster at wide receiver. The one reason that I think that this could benefit both Terrell Williams and Antonio Brown is Jared Cook. But was Jared Cook good last year because there was nobody else to throw the ball to? So what kind of player are we actually getting out of him? Is he somebody that can create space like an Antonio Gates? Or was it just volume?
Or is he going to be like Jimmy Graham last season?
Yeah, I
where
mean,
he was just getting covered by everybody.
So that's the thing is like in the NFL, and this is what I wanted to bring up to you guys. You know, when a LeBron James hits free agency or when a Kevin Durant hits free agency, that is something that can change that total outcome of your team.
But it's also different because you have 5 guys
Exactly.
instead of 11.
But in the NFL, with the player control that they have, with the 5th-year option on first-round draft picks and the franchise tags that you can use multiple times, if you want a player, you're not letting him go.
Yeah.
And we've seen it multiple times with Kirk Cousins, Le'Veon Bell. I mean, we've seen it. If they want a player in their organization, they're going to hold on to him for as long as they can.
Yeah.
So when a player hits free agency, it's because a team doesn't want him. They have the first right to negotiate with the player.
Yeah.
And if they, negotiations fell through, if they think that they're worth more in free agency, then they're going to walk. So Terrell Williams was a number 3, number 4 receiver on the Chargers last year. And now he's making $44 million over the next 4 years for the Raiders. But the Chargers have Hunter Henry, Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen. In my opinion, like they're not taking a step back there. They're in fact they're taking a step forward by getting Hunter Henry back. So instead of, trying to draft these players, you go out and you overpay for somebody. So now you're paying what, $30 million this year for wide receivers?
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be smart.
Yeah, it's not good, man.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's not good. I want to talk about the OBJ trade with the Browns. I mean, I just don't understand what the Giants are doing, Like, you had everything there.
The Giants I think this is definitely a worse situation than the Steelers.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that you're a quarterback away.
That's what I mean. You're quarterback away, and instead you decide that that's the horse you're going to back.
Yeah,
in Eli
Poor
Manning,
Saquon,
I mean,
by the way.
but the thing is so this is my issue. Saquon Barkley is a running back. His career in the NFL is going to be significantly shorter than a wide receivers and a quarterback's.
Yeah.
So you want to surround Saquon Barkley with the best team that you can
during that time you have him.
During that time that you have him. So instead of doing that, you traded away the other best player on your team for a 17th overall pick in the draft, a 2nd round pick in the draft, and a safety that was not any better than the safety that you just traded to the freaking...
Exactly. That doesn't fill any holes that you needed on your defense.
No.
Like, you need outside linebackers and rushers to make that defense good.
That's my biggest problem with it, is now you're going to be wasting some of the best years of Saquon Barkley's career trying to find another elite wide receiver and trying to find a quarterback.
Yeah.
Say you draft Kyler Murray this year. He's going to be a rookie. You can call this year a waste.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Say, you draft Haskins from Ohio State. Same thing. I mean, Nick Foles is gone. Teddy Bridgewater's gone. Tyrod Taylor signed. I mean, all these quarterbacks are falling off, and you don't have anybody else but Eli Manning.
I mean, Blake Bortles is out there now.
Yeah.
And that's
Big man Blake.
It's no better than what you have now.
Yeah,
But,
so I mean...
I don't know. I definitely think that the Browns are going to be a scary team, though, just in the sense of, like you said, they have young, controllable assets now on a rookie contract, so you have that for another 3-4 years.
No, they're definitely primed. They have the skill position players. It's whether or not they can mesh together, and if they can,
I don't think that the Browns are going to be like a playoff team this year necessarily. I know that the star power there says it, but you have a coach who's never dealt with this kind of star power before with a second-year quarterback. I think that the Browns have a roster that should allow them to be better.
Mm-hmm.
But they also were 7-8-1 last year. So it's
a step in the right direction.
It is. I mean, you add Kareem Hunt, you add OBJ, you're moving the pieces in the right direction. You just have to go out and prove it now. Like I said, I think the Steelers are probably a better team now as far as distractions go. So they're probably going to be more mentally focused this year. The Ravens lost a shit ton of players on defense, though.
Dude,
So-
They added Earl Thomas, though.
So when I say not necessarily
But still.
playoff team, I'm saying I don't necessarily think that this is a shoo-in for them to win the division.
Mhm.
But now it's time for them to go and show out that they can win, 10-plus games and make a playoff push.
I think
Dude.
they're going to make the playoffs this year.
Dude,
I
if you're
feel
Hugh
like.
Jackson, you got to be like shooting yourself, man.
Dude, he's...
Like you were so close to having that much talent on your team. Like
Yeah.
you couldn't survive one more season.
But he just did an awful job managing that team.
Yeah.
And you saw it last year. The second he
left,
stepped
they
out, or
started winning.
they got rid of him, they started winning games, And
Yeah.
they were big time spoiler down the stretch for a lot of teams.
But the deal just doesn't make sense to me for the Giants. I mean, they just re-signed this dude.
That's
They
exactly.
just re-signed him. And
We were
like-
talking about it in one of our earlier podcasts about the signing, remember?
And you know what I mean? And he was injured for a little bit of the season. He played like 12 games.
yeah, well,
So
it
you
was
just paid
also
a
they were
dude,
tanking
like-
at the end of the year, so it's like we're not going to get this guy hurt.
No.
I
And
mean-
you just paid a guy like, I don't know how much they paid him, probably like $20 million or something like that last season.
No, I think it was a $50+ million contract. It was over like 4 or 5 years.
So I think a
Well,
lot of the
it's like
signing
15
bonus
million
went,
a year.
So like 15.
and then they probably fronted all the signing bonus too. So,
yeah,
you're
so
out
like
that money
we'll
too.
call it like 15 to 20 million. You paid a guy 15, 20 million dollars to play like 12 games for you.
Dude, I
I mean,
know.
games that didn't even matter.
he missed a lot of games last year, and he does have health concerns.
yeah.
I mean, but like the thing that I'm getting at is like they re-signed him this past year, and they go off like right before the offseason started, and their general manager does an interview saying we didn't re-sign him to trade him.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to listen to offers, and if there's an offer we can't refuse, then we'll take it. This is the offer you couldn't refuse.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get a good defensive player with the 17th overall pick in the draft. You're going to get a good player. That's not lost on me.
Yeah.
And you're going to get a second-round pick as well. But for one of the top 5 receivers in the NFL, this is what you get
This
back.
is your best offer that you could have gotten.
And then you sprinkle Jabril Peppers in there. Like, he's still young. Like, he could turn it around.
Yeah.
And he could be a stud. But like the with the player acquisition and the
the pieces
sub
you lose
15 first round
to-
pick, I
yeah.
mean, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't get it either. The other big move was Le'Veon getting signed to the Jets. I mean, good for Le'Veon to find a team. I think, one, he lost a shit ton of money by holding out last year. So this is kind of, he got what he wanted, though. He got years and he got money that he wanted.
I think if you look at the argument between him and the Steelers, I think Le'Veon lost.
That's
Oh,
exactly.
he definitely
Because he
lost.
didn't make more money than he would have with the Steelers.
No.
So, I mean, it sucks. And
And he
it's
lost out like $12 million or something like that last year,
I
didn't
think
he?
it
Or
was more than that.
Yeah.
I think it was like $14 million. But
So
yeah,
you're down. You're down $14 million, and
you're
then
down
you
a year.
and
A
then you're
year.
down a year, and then you have the 4 years that he signed, right? 4 years, $52 million, or
And you
Yeah.
go to the Jets where
yeah,
you have to play the Patriots twice a year. I mean, that's
and
all
then-
I can say.
And worse than all that is you've built a reputation of being a diva. I think that's like you can't discount that too. The guys going over there, people don't like players that are like that,
And that's the hardest part is you have a young team over there with the Jets. Sam Darnold, second-year guy. Le'Veon does make a lot of catches out of the backfield.
Yeah.
If you can't get in sync with a guy like that, Le'Veon's the type of person that's going to turn on you.
yeah,
Oh, definitely.
dude, honestly, in this free agency, I haven't liked 90% of the moves that have happened. Even with the Nick Foles going to Jacksonville, I didn't like the guaranteed money, the contract laid out. This is what's going on this offseason. Teams that have money to spend are spending,
Mm-hmm.
even if they're not good or ready.
Yeah.
The whole thing with free agency is like you want to add players that can help with that extra push. If you're a team that's, under 500 last year and you go out and spend, $60 million in free agency, you're not going to be a playoff team this next year. But you're and you're going to not have any money to spend later on.
I think last year was just such a weird year for the NFL. You had certain teams that were making pushes that you weren't expecting. You had like the Bills turning it on, winning some random games. I don't know. It was a weird season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it was
for
definitely a
teams
weird
that were,
season. Normally you're not seeing this many bad teams spending this much money. I mean, like I said, the Bills definitely jump out to mind. The Jets definitely, going out and spending all that money on Le'Veon Bell. And then even like the Chiefs, like people are ranting and raving about the fact that they went out and signed Tyrann Mathieu, and that's a huge acquisition. but you just let Eric Berry go, and
Yeah.
then you got rid of D Ford and Justin Houston. The only reason the Chiefs' defense was any good last year is because they had a pass rush. So you improved part of your secondary and then got rid of any part of what was good about your defensive line. So, I mean, and everybody's ranting and raving like the Chiefs' defense just got better. And it's like, no, they got significantly worse.
Yeah.
Unless they're planning on drafting, or trading up in this draft and, figuring out a way to go out and get some pass rushers, they're screwed.
Yeah. No, I think certain teams, I just don't understand why they let people walk, like Tyrann Mathieu. I don't know what the Texans were thinking.
I mean,
you know what I mean? It's like you had options to extend his contract, re-sign him, renegotiate. And then teams like Baltimore, you're just letting guys walk everywhere.
The thing that I would say is I feel like these players they're not as valuable commodities as they are on the field, if that makes sense. So like you have a small cap space and you're dedicating, you have 52 guys or 53 guys, however many guys on the roster. If you're dedicating $15-20 million just for one player on that roster, that contract's hard to flip onto another team. So you're not going to get as much back if you're getting a player that's going to eat up that much of your cap. Yeah. So you just, that's the reason why these guys aren't getting as much for an Odell Beckham or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but it's just weird to see those moves being made. We didn't touch on it last week, but, Eric Weddle's my favorite player, so got to give him a shout out. Going to the Rams.
Dude, I can't believe they cut him.
I don't. Exactly what I'm saying.
This move doesn't make sense to me either.
I did not like that move.
They cut him, and then they signed Earl Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that's a wash.
Literally.
It's less than... I think
Weddle's the leader of the defense.
Earl Thomas is a great safety, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And he plays aggressively, and he's a ball hawk.
Earl Thomas' best years were when he played with Cam Chancellor.
Exactly.
And
Richard
Sherman.
Yeah. He was part of... When he was the Legion of Boom... That's when he was good.
But
ever
that
since
that was their
it.
persona. That's what they did. And Eric Weddle's persona is he is a leader. He is the quarterback of the defense. So I feel like this is not a huge step back from a performance standpoint. But now you're not going to have a player that understands the game as well. I mean, Earl Thomas is a phenomenal athlete and a smart safety.
But it's a difference
that came in and learned this organization over the last 3 years.
It's a difference of the Ravens now playing the Chargers and Hunter Henry getting shut down because Eric Weddle's shadowing him.
Oh, yeah.
And now you're just playing prevent defense the whole time because Earl Thomas is just going to try to make a hit.
Yeah. I mean, they're like...
I definitely think this is a win for the Rams, though, and Eric Weddle.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't understand where the Rams are getting this money from. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, they've got to be like 30 cents over the freaking cap at this point. Like, I mean, it doesn't, like, I know Ndamukong Suh is a free agent, but like, they just re-signed Aaron Donald this past year, Gurley, Woods.
So Suh's off their books?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big piece, though, because Suh's getting way overpaid.
But they got Marcus Peters still. They got Aqib Talib. Like, where the freaking hell are they getting this money?
Yeah.
They signed Don Whitworth.
Andrew Whitworth?
Andrew Whitworth, yeah, last year. It's like, what the fuck? Is nobody talking about this? These are massive contracts.
These are huge numbers.
And they still haven't paid Jared Goff yet. Mind you, he just made it to a Super Bowl, so he's going to be expecting a massive payday.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane to me.
I don't know.
But that's why they pay these CFOs for these teams all this money to go manage the cap like that, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a shit ton of moves, like we said. I don't know if there's any more that you want to talk on. Kareem Hunt to the Browns, Tevin Coleman to the Giants, Mark Ingram to Baltimore. Brandon, your boy, Adrian Peterson re-signed.
Sweet.
That was pretty good. Wide receivers, we kind of touched on everybody. Devin Funchess off the Panthers to the Colts. I thought it was interesting. Larry Fitzgerald signs another 1-year deal with Arizona. Let's see.
The one I did kind of want to give a little love to was the Denzel Perryman re-signed a 2-year deal. Obviously, he's had a lot of hurt years with the Chargers, but they definitely see his value when he's out there.
Mm-hmm.
They did acquire Thomas Davis. He's an older linebacker, but he's a seasoned vet.
The Panthers?
Yeah, from the Panthers.
Yeah,
4-time Pro Bowler. So, I mean, definitely somebody that's going to come in. He's a healthy, like I was telling Dean, he, was suspended most last year because of performance-enhancing drugs, so he's fresh and ready to go.
He's clean now.
Yeah.
Well, hell, man. I
But
mean, you
they
could
also-
take PEDs and still win Man of the Year for a team.
Right. It's good, man.
Look at Corey Leggett last year.
Yeah. Jason Barrett is actually meeting with the Houston Texans and then the San Francisco 49ers.
I would
right
be
after
good
that.
with letting him walk, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
That injury problem is just...
Well, they
I'm
have-
tired of that.
They're pretty set at corner too, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Desmond King he's stepped up pretty big. I feel like he'll probably move to safety. That was the other thing the Chargers did is they let go of Jaleel Dye, and I mean, I like him, he's a cool dude.
Yeah,
Long overdue, man.
he
He would have been a good safety 10 years ago.
I was just gonna say that he's one of those guys in old school. He's a heavy
Troy
hitter.
Polamalu
He
type.
tackles with his arms behind his back.
Yeah.
I mean, he could hit, man. He could hit, but I mean, he ends up giving up more touchdowns and more penalty yards. So I'll be interested to see what the Chargers. I mean, I feel like they might try to draft another slot cornerback this year in the draft. Maybe think about moving Desmond King back to safety with him and Derwin James. So it's always a good sign from your team standpoint not making moves in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
That means that your organization is confident with the product that they're putting on, and they believe that they can build in the draft. You see it a lot. The Patriots, not a team out there making a whole lot of moves. You see it a lot with the, in recent history, like the Colts and the Broncos, things like that. Seattle Seahawks.
The Patriots will make moves in free agency, but they'll take like the scrap guys left over, and they're like, I could take this piece, and I can piece it together, and
can make this
somehow
guy, yeah.
somehow
That's what I
make
mean.
a
The-
great team out of this.
The first day of free agency, when everybody's running around trying to sign the biggest checks, I mean, you don't want your team out there doing that because it's just going to handicap you for the future.
Yeah.
If your organization is any good, they have the ability to draft and re-sign those players at a lower cost.
I agree. In your guys' opinion, who's the one team that's the biggest winner out of all this?
None, man. They're fucking all terrible. I guess you could say the Vikings because they didn't let Anthony Barr walk.
I was gonna give the Cleveland Browns some love for getting Odell Beckham,
That'd be mine, too.
going out and securing a superstar like Odell Beckham, especially pairing him with
Jarvis
Landry.
One of his high school buddy.
high school friend.
You know that those two are gonna have chemistry, and
Honestly, when I saw that and then I found out that they went to high school together, it made me think of you, Ryan. I was like, this is something we'd do.
Yeah, right?
It'd be like, hey, remember us from high school? Let's play together. It's like, oh
we
yeah,
played in college, and now we're gonna be playing in the pros.
exactly. I'd give it to the Browns too.
I mean, it's the one thing that's exciting about football is right after free agency, you have the draft. So I mean, there's definitely a lot to be excited about for football. Problem is, man, is everybody's chasing one team.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns are going to find themselves on draft day feeling a little weird, though, because they're used to having all these first-round picks, and they're not going to have a first-round pick
sitting
this
back
year.
there a little bit.
Yeah, like, oh, shit, we got to wait for the second day of the draft to be
Yeah.
involved.
It'll be interesting. Let's see. We got stat of the day. Ryan, you
All right.
got one for us?
I'm hoping that some of this bad Padre stat kind of helps bring some good juju. So kind of we've been hyping them up a lot.
Nice.
But in the 2018 season, there was no regular player, an everyday player that batted above 260 for the Padres last year.
Oh, my God,
Wow.
that's sad.
260.
That's
Yeah, I think the only one that was close, but he didn't even have enough at bats would be Reyes, who was like 280 last year. But everybody else was kind of. We also don't ever have guys who get a full seasons of hits. Too.
They had 10 players with 300 plate appearances. None of them who hit better than 259.
And the worst thing about it is we just paid Hosmer like 140 whatever million,
Yeah,
and he didn't.
and then
He
he
couldn't
didn't.
even hit over 260.
And just so you guys know, that's the first team without a 260 hitter since 1981 Blue Jays.
Damn,
wow. That's pretty sad.
that is
That's-
that's the real sad part. The 260 part, I'm like, well, whatever, man.
But Brandon, like you said, we're thinking towards the future,
Exactly.
not the
Yeah.
past. So
Who's
this
our
is-
shortstop again last year?
That'll be
No,
that'll be the last.
funny now,
poor
because he
Galvis.
was-
I actually
was
really
like-
like Galvis.
He
to
was
be honest.
trying for the Padres to re-sign Galvis and stuff, and ever since
I know.
Manny Machado, he's like, who?
Who dad?
Yeah.
Who was the guy?
All I know
was-
is Tatis and Machado. That's
Yeah,
all-
Yeah,
He's like-
Tatis, Machado, Paddock. I don't know anybody else.
You go into you go to the last
Who's
season,
this T.
Brandon.
Gwynn? No, I'm just
Brandon's
God.
like, how could he not win a Gold Glove? That guy was out there, blah 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 blah. And then who?
Wait, who was our shortstop on opening day?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Dude, he should have won a Gold Glove last year, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
Well, everybody, we are the Three Amigos and a podcast. Enrique, thank you so
Dude,
much for
these
the hats.
hats.
We haven't taken them off this whole podcast.
True that.
Just unbelievable. Everybody else listening, thank you guys so much, and we will see you next week. Don't forget to go vote for us. myroad.com.
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 Later.
Later.